the screen. There I am. All right, good evening. Welcome everyone to the City of Temecula Community Services Commission. It is September 9th, 2024. The time is 6 o'clock p.m. and I will call this meeting to order. First up, we will have our flag salute, and Vice Chair Hawks will lead that flag salute. So everyone please stand. Remove your caps if you have any, gentlemen. Thank you.
Put your hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
All right. Thank you, Vice Chair Hawks, for that lead, and welcome to all our guests out there. Glad to have you guys tonight. All right, next up, we have our roll call. So our Secretary, Isabel Morales, please.
Thank you, Chair Kingsburg. Commissioner Castro.
Here.
Commissioner Sizemore.
Present.
Vice Chair Hawks.
Here.
Chairperson Kingsburg.
Here.
All present, and Commissioner Audie's attendance will be noted upon his arrival. Thank you.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, Isabel. Okay, so we have a presentation tonight. We are pleased to have our aquatics program here tonight. We're going to get a summer update on our aquatics program and some volunteer recognition. So we look forward to that, and let's please have Gwen Wilcox and Mary Welton. Please come on up, and we're anxious to hear from you. So thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Mary Welton. I'm the new Community Services Supervisor for Aquatics. So we are just going to do a quick summer recap, and then we will move on to our volunteer recognition after we do those numbers for you guys. So welcome to summer 2024. We just wanted to introduce our pools because we did open the new Margarita Rec Center this summer for aquatic programming. So as you guys do know, we do have the Community Rec Center in Chaparral High School. And then this year we did introduce programming at the Margarita Rec Center. So we were able to bring in our gentle swim programs, a bunch of different types of water exercise classes, including like yoga, Pilates, special needs water aerobics. We also did group lessons, adult swim, private lessons. We kind of listed all of our programming out there for you at each one of our different facilities. This summer, with our summer sessions 1 through 4, we were able to service 4,645 swim lesson participants. With our group classes, we had 3,941. That does not include our session 5 and session 6 classes that were going on at the Margarita Rec Center in the fall through August. So these are just our sessions 1 through 4. We had 140 of our adaptive, our students in adaptive programming. So those were a total of 4 summer sessions that were only held at the MRC. And then 488 semi-private swim lessons and 76 adult swim classes. We did have 2 sources of funding this summer for our swim lesson scholarships, including the first 5 of Riverside County, and then the American Red Cross Centennial Program. With that, we were able to issue 502 swim lesson scholarships to underprivileged children and adults, actually, in our community. So the qualifications were children, and then through Red Cross, we were able to service some adults with our swim lesson scholarships, so it really was all ages this summer. With Public Swim, we did have 15,623 people. We did hit capacity quite a few times this summer, which was really exciting for us. We offered Public Swim at the CRC and the MRC between June 8th and September 21st. Public Swim is still ongoing at the Margarita Rec Center through October. So about 14,000 people attended Public Swim. Our family nights, we had 2 different family nights. We had our regular family night and then our special needs family night. Most of them were at the Margarita Rec Center. One of them we did host at the Community Rec Center. Between family night, we did have 580 participants. And then we have a pool party zone at the Community Rec Center. And I believe most of the weekends were fully booked with our pool party zone through this summer. And so we had about 900 people that we were servicing during that area where they can rent a portion of the pool and then they can invite guests to come to public swim on the weekends. Lap swim and our water aerobics classes. So with lap swim, we had 4,584 lap swimmers. That is reservation system and drop-in. So at Chaparral High School, you can do either reservations or you can drop in. At the Community Rec Center, it's the same thing, reservations or drop-in. And then at the Margarita Rec Center, it was drop-in only. For our water exercise classes, we did have 1,212. So we had a number of different types of water exercise classes. Our Free Fit in the Park water exercise class was partnered with our classes team. And then the other cities in our area like Elsinore, Menifee, and Marietta, who also offered free fit classes. So that's where that larger number comes from, is they were individual registration, as opposed to our other classes, which went for a couple of weeks at a time. Additional programs that we were able to offer this summer were our water polo classes, which were held on Saturdays at Chaparral High School. We had a final scrimmage of both sessions, so there were 2 sessions on August 10th, and so they got to take all of their skills that they learned through the summer and do a scrimmage to kind of end the summer and kick that off. Our junior lifeguards, we had 88 participants, so we had 2 age groups, 10 to 13 and 13 through 16, and then some of our junior lifeguards are here with us today. Our older group does get to volunteer for our swim lessons, which we'll talk about later on in the presentation, and they get to work on water safety, their rescue skills, life-saving skills, first aid, they learn water rescues, so it's a great introduction into what the lifeguards do on a day-to-day basis, and some of the skills that they're learning during their lifeguard training classes. We had 47 swim buddies throughout the summer, so that's session 1 through 4, and they assist as one-to-one aides in our adaptive swim lessons, and again, they're here joining us today. And then we had our water safety aid, which is a newer program this summer, and they are assisting with group classes at the 3 of our sites, so the Chaparral High School, CRC, and MRC, and so some of them, again, are here with us today. So our aquatic staff, it does comprise of our lead guards, our senior lifeguards, our lifeguards, and then water safety instructors. So that is a current and up-to-date photo of our staff of 120. And so with our certifications, they are all, aside from just the water safety instructors, they are all certified in lifeguarding, CPR AED for the professional rescuer. They administer oxygen. Some of them are listed here. They're advanced first aid, which is the California Title 22. And then anybody that is teaching swim lessons is also certified as a water safety instructor. In addition, they do take different leadership classes and leadership series in order to better serve our public. And so we're very fortunate that they are able to participate in those. In preseason, they are doing about 40 plus hours of training in preparation for the summer. And then every week we have a staff training that is 1.5 hours per week that they attend. And so they are a highly trained group of young adults that we're very proud of because they work hard every week. And that is our summer. Those are our numbers. Is there any questions before we go into volunteer recognition?
Do we want to go ahead and ask questions or comment now, or do we want to, why don't you go ahead and go through your program and bring your kids up, and then we can comment at the end.
Perfect.
Okay.
Sounds great. Thank you. So I will invite 2 of our lead guards, Melanie Bushnell and Zachary Gonzalez, up. They're going to help with our volunteer recognition. Zachary and Melanie work directly with a lot of our volunteers, and so I will hand it off to them.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Melanie Bushnell. I'm one of the lead lifeguards here at the City of Temecula in our aquatics programs.
Good evening, Commissioners. As Mary said, I'm Zachary Gonzalez. I'm the lead lifeguard here at the City of Temecula Aquatics. So going on, we're going to go ahead and go to our volunteers in aquatics. So we have 3 different types of volunteer programs here at the City of Temecula Aquatics. We have water safety aid, junior lifeguards, and swim buddies. Without further ado, we're going to dive deeper into each one.
The water safety aids are crucial to providing a safe and fun environment for our youth swim lessons. A water safety aid acts as an extension of the instructor, providing crucial demonstrations to each of the kids. They're a friend to the participant, getting to learn how to interact with children in a fun and friendly manner. And they, again, help provide a safe environment. Our water safety aids commit to 3 hours of training and at least 2 weeks of swim lessons with 4 lessons a week.
Moving on to our junior lifeguard program, we have 2 different age groups, 10 through 13 and 13 through 16. We also run 2 sessions throughout the summer. And with our 10 through 13s, they're trained in CPR, AED, first aid skills, and water rescue skills. With our 13 through 16-year-olds, they're trained the same exact way as the 10 through 13-year-olds. However, they're introduced a little bit more responsibility, and that's where they get to volunteer with swim lessons and public swim. During public swim, they get to shadow a lifeguard, and that provides them relevant experience into breaking into the lifeguarding job. And with swim lessons, they are an extension of the instructor, so they're helping those kids develop water safety skills and crucial skills like that. They also do over 900 volunteer hours, and they are also rewarded with just learning all of the ins and outs of the job.
To our adaptive swim programs, our swim buddies are absolutely crucial. We had 140 adaptive participants, and our 47 swim buddies were integral to providing the best possible lesson for each individual participant. Again, once in the water, the swim buddies act as an extension of the instructor, and they're a friend to the participant, providing the one-on-one attention that each participant deserves and accommodating for every single individual need. They are very crucial to providing the safe environment that our participants deserve. Over the course of the summer, we had multiple participants repeat throughout all 4 of our sessions, and we were very lucky to see some old faces from previous years. Our swim buddies commit to 3 hours of training and at least 2 weeks of lessons, and altogether had over 640 volunteer hours.
So me and Melanie would just like to thank all our volunteers for helping us out over the summer. And at this time, I would like to call all of the volunteers up to the stage, and we're going to go ahead and pass out your certificates, and we're going to take a picture as well.
Commissioners, would any of you like to be in the photo?
Yeah, if you guys would like to just head on down with the group, and then Isabel's going to get a picture of the entire group.
Awesome. And then don't move. The commissioners are going to join you. Stay there. All right. The tall guy.
Mary, Post, Gwen, would you like to jump in the picture too?
Okay, so that concludes your presentation, obviously. Thank you so much. And we'll give commissioners a chance to either ask questions or make comment. Why don't we go ahead and start off, Commissioner Castro?
Thank you. Appreciate the presentation. There's a lot of good information. How many of your junior lifeguards go on to become regular lifeguards or whatever the right term is?
We don't have an exact number. We could look that up. However, we have quite a few, especially this year, with that come in. Like there's a number that pop in the top of my head. But there are quite a few that go on to take classes right after they complete their junior lifeguarding program. What is very beneficial is that we get to know them in the program. So when they take the classes, like we know them already, we know their name when their application comes through. And so it does give them that added benefit of us knowing how they work in swim lessons, how they work in their skill set, and they perform very strongly in our classes normally because they've had this foundational skills in the junior lifeguarding program. The numbers do completely depend on how many spots are available during the recruitment process. So it is a hard number to gauge. It's not the same every single year. But even in the photos, there was a number that, like, as I was going through the photos and looking at years past, and I was like, oh, because I'm newer to the city, I was like, I didn't realize that they were also a junior lifeguard. And so it continues on through many different years.
Okay, thank you. You guys should be really proud of the program. I'm sure you guys gave a lot of people in the city memories they'll remember the rest of their lives, you know, being at the pool. I think all of us remember growing up at the pool and those things. And also, you know, child drowning deaths are a big issue, and having the lessons available is very helpful for the community. So thank you.
You hit on two of our passions. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Commissioner Sizemore?
Thank you. Thank you for coming out here this evening. I really appreciate having you out here and having you present this to us. Great job this summer to all the participants, and thank you for all that you've done because you've really helped to equip some of our youngest residents with life-saving skills, being able to swim. You know, you never know whose life you may have saved this summer by helping a child learn how to swim. So thank you for all that you've done. I just have one silly little question. Did we ever settle on a name for the mascot?
His name is Temmie.
No. That was the old one.
Well, that was his old name. Waddles.
Waddles?
Waddles.
I like that. I can do that one. I can
I
do
knew that.
Waddles. Waddles the duck. I like that. Thank you.
I was introduced to Temmie when I first worked, and then we switched it up.
There was a whole thing about name the mascot, and I got
Yes.
really vested into it. And
Yeah. Waddles.
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 I like that. Kind of reminds me of Jeff Waddell.
All righty. Vice Chair Hawks, please.
Thank you, Mary and Gwen. Yeah, thank you for your hard work for training up the next generation of leaders. And I want to take a moment just to thank all the junior guards and the volunteers for your hundreds of hours of volunteers, sweat. I don't know if there's any tears. I hope not. But it's really, it's going to build up, I think, as you move on maybe later into these hired lifeguards and become teachers, and it's really going to be helpful to our community. And I also want to thank all the parents for driving them there on a regular basis, those hours. So thank you for all your volunteers. And I have a quick question about the new MRC pool that's open. Does that increase the number of participation for our classes and for our public swims? That's really a great addition to our community.
Yeah. As we are looking at the numbers are they're higher than they were last year, especially with the public swim. Now that we have 2 pools that offer public swim, last year was just the community rec center. With swim lessons as well, we are able to offer swim lessons and group swim lessons into the fall this year. So we're still looking at the numbers as it's continuing programming, but we'll have a better gauge on it as we get into the springtime. But as of right now, yes, the numbers do show that it's higher. We did lose the TES pool going into this summer, and that serviced a lot of the community with the number of swim lessons that were happening, but we were able to shift some of the programming at the MRC to really optimize how many people we were teaching throughout the summer.
That's great. So is that the elementary school pool will open next year?
Unfortunately, it won't, but I think we're going to be able to compensate it for a lot of that programming at the MRC. And the MRC will also be a year-round facility, as the CRC is, but will offer year-round lessons. And that's an opportunity we've never had in the city before, is to be able to offer year-round lessons. It's operated as a warmer water pool, and we have a lot of opportunity for swim lessons when it's colder outside, or for different groups to come and use that facility that maybe don't do as well in the colder, like 80, when I say colder, I mean 80-degree water at the CRC. It's still heated, but it's not a warmer water pool. So MRC is giving us so many amazing opportunities, and the numbers probably won't shake out till next year. We'll have a snapshot in time by next year, but I anticipate to see a great increase in the number of swim lessons we're able to offer.
Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Audi, do you want to ask a comment?
Yeah, I apologize for missing, of all the things, I wanted to be here for any aquatics presentations, but thanks to all the volunteers, and thanks to staff. I know I have 2 of my 3 daughters went through the junior guard program, and still, utilize some of the training they got from it. And as far as staff, Gwen, I think you were still there for one of them. So
It's my 25th summer.
sorry to say. And, also what Ernie was, what Commissioner Castro was talking about, just so thankful for the junior guard program and the guards. I know that I always, every time I step out of the pool, I thank the guard, and I know some of the guards look at me like, what? But I'm very thankful for what you do and protecting our lives. And thanks, staff. You're a great program.
Yeah, I'll pretty much echo what others said. We really appreciate your presentation. It was really well organized and easy to read, and I've got all kinds of numbers dancing around in my head. And I'll probably share a couple of them tomorrow night at the council meeting and my report, my commission report. But the numbers are really impressive. And also, I just hearing Melanie and Zach speak as lead lifeguards, your guys' leadership is evident. So keep up the good work. You guys seem to have a real structure. I was going to ask about the MRC, but you kind of elaborated on that after what Vice Chair Hawks asked, so that's great. I'm understanding that the water is set to be warmer at the MRC, which extends the season, correct?
Yeah, it'll be operational year-round.
Okay, wonderful. That's great. And then, the only other thing I was going to ask, I think I know the answer, I'd make an educated guess. You talked about the rentable pool party zone, 900 participants. I trust that's at the CRC? Okay. And that's rented out like a park picnic area would be rented out for a community member?
Yeah, we offer, it's on the website, so they can go directly onto the online catalog, just like they would do for I want to say like a swim lesson or a lap swim reservation. So there's like a calendar. We do take it 60 days out, and so really before summer we get a lot of phone calls, and people are putting it in their calendar the day that they can reserve the pool party zone. So then as weekends go, they like push the party to the next weekend, and so on and so forth. So we do see a lot of that, especially the peak of summer, like July's, the early August pool parties go very quickly, but it does go from June to September for our pool party zone. This weekend will be our last weekend of the pool party zone.
All right, well, it sounds like a nice extra feature and bonus for our residents. So, well, anyway, thank you guys again so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks again to Gwen and her staff. I would put you guys up against anyone in the state for the program they run in terms of the depth and breadth of training that our guards receive, the impact they have on the community. It's not just drowning prevention, which is super important because that's one of the leading causes of death for children under age 5 in California. We know it can happen so quickly, silently. It's so important that families are aware and take steps to prevent that. but also through what you're doing and all the parents who support you and all the volunteers who so generously gave your time, you're opening an entire world and a lifetime of enjoyment of the water. And when I've seen people who haven't had that experience and they come in a lot of times as adults with a ton of fear around swimming, anything involving the water, boating, and especially living here in a state with this huge, beautiful coastline, you know, the work you guys are putting into the community right now not only makes them safer, but I truly believe it makes them happier. So I just want to thank you all. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you both, Mary. Welcome aboard. Your first official summer here under your belt. What a summer it was with the new facility and all kinds of shenanigans going on over at that MRC pool before it was finally online
Wouldn't
and
trade
even
it for the
now.
world.
Yeah. And then, sorry to say that Melissa Davis can't be here, but it's for a good reason. She and her husband just welcomed a new baby boy, so congratulations to her as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and as I mentioned earlier, we appreciate all you guys coming out and supporting your children or whoever you're here for. That being said, we're going to go ahead and continue to move in with our meeting and the business portion of our meeting. We understand you may have other things you want to do tonight, and so if you get up and leave, we will not be offended, and we'll give you an opportunity to do that now. If you'd like to stay and be a part of any other sections of our meeting, you're certainly welcome. Thank you so much. Okay, so moving on, our next section is public comments. Isabel, do we have public comments tonight?
Yes, we have one public speaker this evening, and it's Annie Bosterly from the city of Temecula to speak about Temecula Sustains Community Cleanup.
Oh, okay, great. Well, welcome.
Good evening, Chairperson Kingsburg and Commission, staff, how do you want to call it? Co-workers. So actually, I wanted to thank Director Russo for inviting me to come and speak this evening on a cleanup that's coming up on September 21st. It actually aligns with something called National Cleanup Day. So the cleanup is actually going to take along Murrieta Creek, along Diaz Road, from Winchester to kind of via Montezuma, our low flow. So it's going to start at 9 a.m. till noon. There will be lunch provided at the end, but so really the whole reason I'm here is to invite all of you to come join us for that day. I know Commissioner Audi, I've sent an email to him already, and he's sent it out to his group. And Kathy Sizemore, we've talked about this with the Boy Scouts, so I've actually met with a couple of your commissioners. But so we would love for you to come. But I also wanted to thank Mike Morey for creating this beautiful flyer you see in front of you with all the edits all the way till last minute today. He has helped me put this whole publishing out. So if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay, well, being it's a public comment,
You know, normally we wouldn't have any discussions. Since Annie is also a staff member, I think we're okay if you do have any questions.
sure, okay.
I had to introduce myself.
All right, would anyone like to ask a question? Commissioner Castro?
So I'm also with Bike Temecula Valley,
Oh,
and
awesome.
we're going to have people there. What do they need to bring, or do they need to provide
Nothing.
gloves or cleaning?
Just you and your, how do you call it, your eagerness to help keep Temecula sustained. Yes, pickers, gloves, trash bags, they're all going to be provided, as well as our Public Works team will have their trailer for any couches or any big items that we pull out of this reach. So it's, the total reach is about 1 mile. So we're going to start at Winchester all the way to kind of where DMV is, because as you know, along Diaz, the EMWD's project site is taking place, so we can't go past that point.
And will it be just the trailer or also the creek bed?
Just the trail. It's actually nesting season, so we can't go into the creek.
Thank you.
Commissioner Oddie, you got a question?
Yeah, I just, hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you in person.
Yeah.
How is it going in terms of volunteerism at this point?
Sure, as far as volunteers, so there's a lot of Rotaries in Temecula. So the lunchtime Rotary, the one Kathy belongs to, they are actually having about 20 people come. Then we have a National Charity League is also providing some of the girls. And then there's a group who volunteers at our dog park, Yard Fresh. She's grabbing a whole bunch of people from Canyon Lake to come and help. And hopefully you guys and your bike team.
Okay, thank you so much.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that information. And I'm thinking, hey, maybe by the 21st, the weather will be a little milder and it'll be a good morning
We will have lots of water
to
for
get
you.
people out
Lemonade, ice, don't you?
there. Hopefully all this heat will have mostly passed by that point.
Yes,
But
I hope so.
thank you for coming and sharing this, and we'll definitely take a good look at it. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Verika.
All right, so we are going to move on to our division reports. And first up, we have Parks and Recreation. And I believe we have Cassandra Hargett here tonight. Good to see you, Cassandra.
Hi. Good evening. My name is Cassandra Hargett, and I'll be presenting the first part of the division reports. Staff taught 4,359 children and adults this summer season. Youth and adult lessons will continue through the winter months. Bring a Friend to Work Day was a success with 35 people participating. This event is to help recruit team members for the next year. Since June 1st, the aquatics team has provided aid to 48 guests and performed 18 in-water rescues. Special thank you to the amazing volunteers who are a vital piece of the swim lesson program. This year, we had 102 volunteers that contributed around 2,000 hours of service. Training is ongoing during the summer, and the focus this month was swimming, rescues, and emergency action plans. The Contract Classes Division continues to offer a wide selection of classes and activities for the community. August had a total of 5,183 participants in 357 camps and classes. We also conducted our free fitness in Temecula series, with concluding with sunset yoga in the park and a trail walk in August. We had another incredible summer, offering 117 summer camps to youth and teens. Some of the many camps offered included basketball camps, tiny top boot camp, painting like the Masters camp, and a variety of Legos and engineering camps. Fit Color Run takes place on Sunday, September 22nd at the Ronald Reagan Sports Park. This annual event promises to be a fun-filled day of fitness, laughter, and colorful memories. Teen Zone is open from Monday through Saturday and offers middle and high school students a place to hang out, do homework, play games, and participate in scheduled activities. August highlights include making apple pies, Dole Whip, playing volleyball, and other gym games and candle painting. The end of summer Team Globe pool party took place on August 2nd and was a hit with the 74 teens in attendance. Homeschool Fridays at the Teen Zone began in August to serve our homeschool community in the area. Skate Park Jam takes place next month on Saturday, October 19th at the Temecula Skate Park. This event has music, a DJ, refreshments, prize drawings, giveaways, and much more. Homeless Outreach Division has been busy with 7 street exits in August, bringing the year-to-date total to 107. Clients continue to get connected with medical help and shelter assistance with the help of SWAG. The Homeless Outreach Division also partnered with the IT department to create a GIS map of known hotspots throughout the city. They found this tool to be incredibly useful. The Ronald H. Roberts Temecula Public Library had a total impact of 21,260 in August. Programs this month included music trivia night, 18 preschool story times, and themed displays. Many rentals took place at the city facilities this month with a total impact of 3,110. National Night Out took place in August and had 300 attendees. The National Preparedness Fair was postponed due to the heat, and upcoming this week is the September 11th Remembrance at the Duck Pond and Cartoonapalooza on September 14th at the Civic Center Quad, right out front. The fall season began for local recognized baseball and softball leagues. Rental groups were at full capacity for field and hockey rinks, and adult basketball league has hit the halfway point for the summer-fall season. This concludes the first section of our report, and we are available to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Cassandra, appreciate it. All right, we'll give commissioners an opportunity to ask a question or make a comment, and we will start with Commissioner Sizemore.
Thank you, Chair Kingsburg. Thank you for being here with us tonight, Cassandra, and giving us that very thorough report. Appreciate having you here tonight. A lot of great things happening in the city this summer. I know some of our camps and classes became traditions for my children that they still talk about now that they're adults. So thank you for providing those services to our residents. Also, thank you for making sure to provide sports fields and access to facilities for our adult leagues. I think it's important that all of our residents, regardless of age, have access to recreate in our city. I did want to ask one question on our field allocations. How is that going here for fall sports? Were we able to satisfy all of the needs and requests?
Well, we'll never be able to satisfy all the needs of
as soon as I said that,
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
until we get Uptown Sports Park, which is years away, we'll never be able to meet all the needs, but we do our very best. And I know James and his team work really hard to kind of juggle everything and try and get everybody at least some of what they're asking for. So I hate to say it out loud, but I would say complaints have been very minimal so
Okay.
far. I don't want to
That's
jinx
a success.
anybody, but
I mean, knock on.
yeah, exactly. Knock on
something.
something. I don't want to jinx anyone, but no, it seems to be going very smoothly this year.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Sizemore. Let's go to Commissioner Adi.
Cassandra, great to see you. Thanks very much. I think I'm going to ask one question, but I'm so impressed always to see what we do to keep our town active and, do everything we can with all the facilities we have and with the staff we have. And it's just great to see an active Temecula. I have two questions now. So no, this is a comment. I take it back. One question. So here's the comment. You kind of teed it up for me with the facilities on the question that Commissioner Sizemore asked. We're years down the road for the North Side Sports Park. I just again think that I want to say publicly, we've got to find a way to do better with joint use with our school district because our residents are our students, and so we want to, we want to continue to work on that. I know you are working on it, and I know the school district is working on it, and I know there's a lot of stuff that I don't know about that goes on with that. It's mostly legal, and that's not my field, so I think that I just wanted to say publicly that we need to stay focused on it because I think that is a resource that really can be used. And then the question is on the IT and with the hotspots for the homeless outreach, How does that exactly work? And since they like using it, I mean, is there more than just it tells you where the hotspot is? How is that being used with the homeless outreach?
So we're implementing a sort of change in how we do some encampment cleanups. So historically, we've only been able to do encampment cleanups on city-owned property. And then a few years ago, we entered into a mutual agreement with Riverside County Flood Control because many of the dangerous and unhealthy encampments are in the creek beds. And because the city didn't own the creek beds, we couldn't go into it. And as Annie mentioned, there's things about, nesting season, and, there's a lot of restrictions on when you can actually enter a creek bed. So a few years ago, we were able to enter into an agreement with Riverside County Flood Control whereby they would reimburse us up to a certain amount. If we find debris or something significant in a creek bed, we can go in and remediate it without getting advance permission from them. So we go in, we remediate it, and then we bill them, and then they reimburse us. Now we're trying to tackle, there's been a few areas on private property where we've had some really significant encampments, and probably the biggest one was up off of Business Park Drive. It's 3 separate parcels, multiple property owners, and it had roughly, some drone footage showed over 23, at least 23 specific, separate, discrete encampments on those parcels. And so working with GIS and the IT department, they were able to utilize drone footage to go in and actually create like a 3-dimensional map that showed kind of the topography of the ground and place flags where the individual issues were. So super helpful, because then that meant when we were able to send a team out to do outreach and to enforce trespassing and any other laws that were being broken, they knew exactly where they were going. And it also gave them an idea of what the topography would look like that they're encountering. And drones have been a huge help in this effort as well, because as you can imagine, if you just have a team on foot, which is how we were doing it up until last year, you just have a team on foot, it can take them a whole day to kind of go down a creek bed, and they never know what's around the bend and what they're about to encounter. But with drones, you're able to send a drone up, send it out, and Jonathan in the back could speak to this more than I could, but you can send a drone out, you can cover a lot more ground, much more quickly and much more safely. And then you get that information back, and you're not wasting time going places where there aren't issues, but you also know if you are going where there's an issue, you kind of know what you're going to expect. So it's been huge, been very, very helpful. Thank you to the IT department and Jonathan back there. And then additionally, we also have, as you know, if you're using the city's app, you can geotag your reports. When you make an incident report on the app, whether it's about a homeless issue or a pothole or a downed tree limb or anything, you can geotag that. So mapping has just really been a fantastic tool for, I would say, citywide for what we can do.
Great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Commissioner Castro?
Thank you for the report, Cassandra. That was really good. A few questions. How has the sign up for the color run been so far?
Actually, it's going really well. So numbers are up just like we were hoping. So hopefully we'll get a really good turnout and it will not be this hot.
Yes, hopefully. The other question was there was a mention of a homeschool program for, was that the library, or what was the attendance like for that, or how popular is that?
That's over at the Teen Zone
Teen
at the CRCs, so they always have the Teen Zone, if it's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
So they've started on Fridays during the day offering a homeschool, and I think your vice chair over there would love to weigh in on this.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, I can give you a report. I'm really happy that they offer the teen zone for just the homeschool communities. I reached out to the parents I know, and the first day they had 10 teens showed up, and then that's the first time my son asked me he wanted to go back. Before, I always ask him, do you want to go? Do you want to go? Always resistance. But this time, him and his friends, they wanted to go back, and last 2 times they've been playing dodgeball and then Nerf gun fights in the gym. So it just seems it's really also, they can utilize that time slot before the regular teen zone. So it seems to be a really good hit for the homeschool communities, and I'm going to continue to tell the other moms I know to come to the teen zone, especially for during this time, because the regular school, they're still in session, so that's really a good use of the time. for them to have a place to hang out and burn that energy.
Well, it's good to hear about a successful program. One follow-up on the swag. What have they been doing with the current heat wave?
So one of the main things they're doing, they're stepping up outreach. They're going to all of the known hotspots, and they're just bringing water. I mean, really, water's huge. And we're also bringing water for all of the pets as well, because we do see a lot of individuals who are unsheltered who have pets, and it's really brutal to see in this heat. Additionally, the senior center is open as a cool center. It's normally Monday through Friday during the day, but because of the extreme heat, we've kept it open over the weekends as well. So anybody can attend the senior center as a cool center as well.
Thank you.
Mhm.
That's all.
Okay, Vice Chair Hawks, did you have anything else to share?
I have a question. Thank you, Cassandra. During your presentation, you mentioned there are 18 in-water rescue. Is that correct?
Yes, why don't we bring up the aquatic staff since they
Oh,
were
yes.
kind enough to stay and they can speak to that. That would be great. Thank you, Mary.
We had 18 in-water rescues, so no drownings, but they were just either distress victims or active victims, which means that normally what happens is like they do a swim test and then they they're not anticipating how deep the water is, or they get tired when they're swimming. So the lifeguards are able to identify them right away, and then they enter the water, rescue them, bring them to the wall. So all 18 of them just resumed activity as normal once they were out of the water, filled out their paperwork, and then went back swimming. Yeah, so 18. And then the 48 were like first aid, care of that nature. So cuts, bruises, Band-Aids, that type of thing.
So no drowning.
No drownings, 0 drownings.
Very good.
0 drownings, just the in-water rescues, yeah.
Thank you. And it shows again that it's important that those skills you train them.
Yeah, preventative lifeguarding. If they didn't identify them, it could have been a drowning. So we're very fortunate that the lifeguards are alert and aware and paying attention so that we're getting any of our victims immediately.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Cassandra, for the report. Appreciate it. It was good to learn a little bit more about the Fit Color Run. It's something I've been aware of, but I never really knew what it was, and it appears to be it's a 5K, correct? Or are there different
It is.
distances?
I expect you to sign up and win.
Well, sign up's a possibility, win is probably not at this point.
I think you have a good chance.
But
of
that actually leads to my
70.
next question, because I would win the old guys walking division if I was to win. And so that was my other question, is it runner? It looks like it's family and kids and people just out having fun, but I trust there's some walkers as well.
There are. So I've participated once. I am not a runner by any means, but I did walk, and it was fun. So I encourage you. There's a lot more people who walk than run.
Okay. Very good. Just curious. And we've been doing this event for a while now, correct?
We
Number of
have.
years? Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All right, well, thank you for sharing that. And then the other thing I'll share at this time, because it was mentioned specifically, was the progress on the adult sports league, specifically the adult basketball league. So on August 27th, a couple weeks ago, I went and visited the adult basketball league over at the CRC, as we received an invite through Isabel to stop by the rec leagues. And kind of went down memory lane as someone who played in one of those leagues way back. Did some coaching there as well through the youth leagues, Temecula Youth Basketball and Boys and Girls Club, et cetera, middle school. Anyway, I want to give a shout out to Matt Dobbins, who's the community services assistant. Matt was very welcoming the night that I came by, and I learned a little bit that he'd been administrating the adult basketball league now for a couple of years over at the CRC. Additionally, this year he has added adult softball and kickball to his repertoire of administrating sports leagues. And again, he was just doing it all that night. Pretty much right after I came in and sat down, took my seat at center court. I got a really good price at center court for a seat. He went right into first responder mode because a player took a chinner and cut his chin open pretty good, and Matt went right into first responder mode or provided first aid and took care of all that, and then he came over and sat with me and talked to me about the league and a little bit about himself, and again, I'm just really impressed that they have 10 to 11 teams for each of the two divisions, and they run this thing 15-week seasons, twice a year. And so there are a lot of, and just observing, being a basketball guy myself, just observing the people out playing, and I know how good it is for people in numerous ways, whatever game you're playing, especially a game you can play with others. And so anyway, kudos to Matt for his work on that, because I know there's a lot involved in organizing and executing that. So I want to give him a shout out. I thought it was a good time to do it. So with that, we'll go ahead and move on. And we have Matt Morey here tonight, who's going to speak to us on the arts and culture front and some other things, I'm sure. So welcome, Matt.
It's actually Mike. My twin brother is Matt,
My-
so that's funny.
My apologies. That's my mistake for the night. I always have one, so at least it was M, but no, I thank you for clarifying. Thank you.
Yep. Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Morey, and I'll be reading the second half of this report. Our community outreach team had another great month. The team presented at Ready Commission, helped our HR department with a logo and video for the upcoming Employee Health Fair. We released episode 31 of Park Adventures, which highlights Patricia H. Birdsall Sports Park. We also released our Friendship Park video, and the team was also out at National Night Out, handing out giveaways. Our upcoming projects will be a veterans rack card that will have helpful information and resources for veterans. The Temecula Valley Museum offered guests an exhibit of the 17th annual Ralph Love Plein Air competition and held another Out of the Archives where they discussed Temecula Valley fire history. The museum also held its monthly Temecula Culture Day celebrating Scotland. 150 guests enjoyed an art lesson from Bigfoot Graphics, a puppet show, outdoor games and crafts, and local baked goods. Upcoming events at the museum include Temecula Culture Day celebrating Mexico on Saturday the 14th, the Temecula Mural Unveil of Dia de los Muertos on Wednesday, September 18th, the 17th annual Ralph Love Plein Air Reception on Friday the 20th, and finally, the annual Art in the Vines will be happening from September 10th to September 30th. Carl Kravitz featured his art at Art Nights last month, showcasing floral photography. Other artists had art displayed at the following galleries around Temecula. The Merc continued with programming of their Merc series. Jazz, Speakeasy, and Brazilian Jazz all had sold-out performances, while other shows were a little bit lower this month. The theater had another busy month. In August, performances included Disney's Beauty and the Beast, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and Newsies. Camp SOAR came to an end with session 4. Campers visited India and Japan, enjoying art, crafts, and more. The summer food service program continues at Rotary Park and Michael Mike Nagar Community Park with meals prepared by the Senior Center staff. Human Services held a High Hopes and Skip movie night at the CRC Amphitheater, where participants enjoyed the movie Kung Fu Panda 4. Also offered was the Inclusive Social Skills program at Eagle Soar Playground, and participants enjoyed sensory stations, crafts, and more. The Senior Center held the Summer Lovin' Luau with performance by the Senior Center Choral Group, and a fresh summer salad appetizer was prepared by staff. The seniors also enjoyed an excursion to Coronado Island, where they toured the grounds and shopped and dined around town. In the month of August, the Senior Center held 2 senior talks, 2 arts and crafts days, and celebrated 9 birthdays. Staff prepared a newsletter where seniors can learn about all the upcoming events and programs offered at the Senior Center. The Senior Center Garden is open on Monday and Wednesday mornings, where seniors have been harvesting tomatoes, with the next harvest being watermelon and cantaloupes. The internship and fellowship program had 24 interns out in various departments in the month of August. The externship program had 13 externs in August in the areas of culinary, veteran affairs, auto, and media. The Youth Innovators program had 10 young innovators meet to plan the upcoming Junior STEM program. They prepared upcoming topics such as anatomy and physiology. They also pitched in with other programs like the Science Fair Leadership Academy and more. Finally, the Legal Scholars program had 29 college and postgraduate students enrolled. They participated in the different types of law panel and state bar luncheon. And this is usually where I would say that's all I have, but actually I have a sneak peek for you guys of the next episode of Park Adventures, which will be out later this week.
Right.
Jonathan, can we get volume on this? Okay, got it. Thanks.
Wolf Creek Drive North, Wolf Creek Park. Hey everyone, our journey takes us to the southern end of Temecula here at Wolf Creek Park. I'm Jeff Lawrence, and this is Park Adventures. Located at 45850 Wolf Creek Drive North, Wolf Creek Park has a little bit of everything you might need for the perfect park day. This park has a good-sized playground which is surrounded by multiple covered gazebos. There is a full-size basketball court, large grass area, and restrooms. Remember, this park has a pump track, so don't forget your bikes and helmets. Wolf Creek Trail is connected to this park, which is great for walkers, and with exercise stations along the way, it's also a great workout. This trail leads to another park too. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll save that for the next adventure. Don't forget to watch past episodes at temeculaca.gov/parkadventures. Wow, this is such a great park. There are so many amenities. Do you know you can even reserve the picnic shelter here? Perfect for a family get-together or your next kid's birthday party. As always, we encourage everybody to head outside, experience Temecula's diverse parks, and even discover new ones just beyond your own backyard. Wow, this is such a great park. I had that one too.
That's all I have, and we can answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Okay, we'll give commissioners an opportunity, and first up is Commissioner Castro.
Mike, Matt, thank you for the report. That was very informative. The interns, do they run on a school schedule or are they by the month? It was in the report there was 24 interns.
They're assigned to different divisions, so it's not like they're here for the whole academic year. There are shorter stints and there are longer
So
assignments.
It's not a standard program like based on a school year.
No, it's
whatever.
based on need and division requests.
Oh, okay.
So we have one in the media department right now, right, Mike?
Yeah, and she's just here until she starts college, so I think this is her last week.
Oh, okay. All right.
We accept intern applications throughout the year, like at any point in time. Sometimes they come in through their schools, sometimes it's like a personal reference. But the majority of our interns come in during the summer
Oh, okay.
because that's when they're typically that's
Have
when they
time.
have their breaks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you for the report. That's all I've got.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Sizemore?
Thank you. Thank you for being here with us tonight, Mike. I love to hear about everything that you are doing in our social media and department. It's really, really fascinating. I did want to just have a couple of comments on our arts, or performing arts. I heard my daughter went to Tick Tick Boom, and she attends a lot of theater, and she said that's probably her favorite one this year. So that was received very well. And Newsies, we went and saw Newsies this past weekend. And I will tell you, I took my daughter to see Newsies 10 years ago at Pantages. And by the time I bought tickets, they were all the way in the back of the theater. I could not really see what was happening, couldn't see faces, couldn't really see the dancing, so I hated it. I thought it was a horrible show, and she thinks it's still fantastic. Seeing it here and actually seeing the faces and seeing them dance, wow, we have some performers. There were a couple of dancers that are really top-notch. So again, I don't have to drive to Hollywood ever again, so thank you. Thank you, I do appreciate that. It's a great show. If anybody hasn't seen it yet, I'd recommend it. I enjoyed it. Just don't tell her that I was recommending it, okay? Because, yeah, I wouldn't want that. And I did want to comment, the newsletter for the Senior Center, I think that's a great idea. How did the seniors receive that?
They love it. They get a hard copy. It's not electronic. It's available
Good.
on site, and they get to dog-ear it, highlight it, put it on their bulletin board. So they are very grateful for it. It was just an intern that put it together initially, and then it's taken off. So it's definitely a need, and print has gone out of style because everything's online now, but there's certain people that prefer the hardcover book and to turn the pages and to see
Absolutely.
things in writing. So it's a comprehensive information that you could take with you on the go and know when to come back, because there's
Will you
always something
guys
going
be
on.
continuing that past the intern?
Yes,
Good,
definitely.
good. I think that's a great addition. I would say, could you email it to all of us?
Yes.
Is it available?
I have a PDF of it. I'll
Okay,
send
that'd be
it out.
great. I'd love to see it. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Sizemore. Commissioner Oddie?
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate the sneak peek. I was hoping you had something like that for us tonight, and especially like the outtakes of Jeff. And I think it's nice for, we have Commissioner Faulkner here, and our aquatic staff stayed for the entire meeting. So to get a little bit of entertainment was wonderful. Appreciate it, Mike. You're so talented and do so many great things over there. My comment is back to interns and externs again. We just have a top-notch program of, friends, ex-students who have been a part of it. Nobody has anything negative to say about it. It's always been a big part in their development and potential, use in their careers down the road. So that is super program. Just keep your ears peeled if you have any interns who are good at mapping skills, technical mapping skills. We're hoping to find somebody that can do some work for us for the American Bicyclist Award that we got, our silver award. We're hoping to improve on that, and we need to pick up those digital mapping skills. So keep your ears peeled if you have any interns coming in that are good at that. Send them over to Mark Collins, and that'll be very helpful. So again, thanks again, and just so many great comments about talent and staff and just the wonderful things we have. So appreciate that report.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Oddie. Vice Chair Hawks?
Thank you, Mike, and I really appreciate that sneak peek. And I thought I went to that park before, but I didn't recognize it. Probably that's before the renovation without the pump track. So really appreciate that. I have a couple of questions. One is the senior center garden. Do the seniors grow it or the staff grow it?
It's communal, but it's part of the viticulture program, as well as the seniors get to weed and help and, water and just garden, and they get to take home the fruit as well and the veggies. So it's very sustainable and encouraging of all ages and abilities.
I like garden myself, but I have no harvest. And the question is about the junior STEM. I know we made some changes about charging a nominal fee for the registration, and this time there were 10 attendees, and I'm wondering, in the past, I think a couple of times when my kids went, there were 30 or 50. Seems like the number came down a little bit. Is that because of the registration, the fees we put, or just that's the number
I don't know,
where?
Cassandra, do you want to comment on anything you've heard? I haven't heard any complaints, but I suspect it's low attendance due to summer.
I'm sure it's just an ebb and flow. Sometimes, though, when things are free, people will sign up for them and fill up the roster and not necessarily show up. So the class will be full, but the actual people attending may be less. Our hope was when when the fee was introduced, that it would encourage people to show up and attend and get the most out of the program.
So one small suggestion I have is maybe put it in the guide what each month they're doing, human biology or STEM or chemistry. So something like, I look at the program, but when I look at it, there is nothing showing them. I ask my kids that they don't know if that's their interest or not. So maybe that will be helpful for future guides, that for the parents to look at, okay, the child is really interested in this specific subject, then they might sign up.
I believe they are going to be on this next one. We've asked for that as well. So hopefully we'll have all of that listed in the guide soon.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair Hawks. Yeah, Mike, thank you so much. Obviously, you're a real talent, and your department does some great stuff. I mean, I'm relatively new to social media, and I'm even newer to Reels. But most of the Reels I watch are Reels that you guys have put out recently, and I saw one a few weeks back with Director Russo was out. It was a more lengthy reel than a few of the reels I've seen, but I enjoyed it. And I'm thinking our assistant director and superintendent are probably next up, right, for a reel to. Did I miss Dawn? All right, I'll be taking a look then.
That would be great.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyway, I'm finding my way through the reels and good stuff, but thank you. It was mentioned the Culture Day of Scotland. I was able to get over there for that. As was mentioned, it was a very hot day, but the staff did a great job, and the setup over there with the big trees were really nice. It's created some very nice shade, and obviously the bagpipes made the event, right? I mean, you can't do Scotland without the bagpipes. I'm going to ditto what Commissioner Sizemore said about the Senior Center newsletter. That definitely caught my attention. And I'll go ahead and just request a hard copy. No, I'll get one. I'll get one sooner or later.
I sent the PDF to Isabel while we were speaking, so she'll send it with.
Like I said, put me in that group that still likes to hold and look at paper at times. But thank you. I did have, I'm just kind of curious, because I know we were invited, I didn't get over to it, but in conjunction with the lunches and all that this year, but on Thursday mornings, they were doing the Eagle Soar, which was mentioned in the presentation. I'm just kind of curious how that went as far as inclusive services. There weren't any numbers with attendance. Is that a program we've done, and is it considered successful?
It's always very well attended,
good.
since it's just open skills sharing. It's not really, attendance is not taken, so.
Right.
But the community response is overwhelming, that they're extremely grateful that it's, are you talking about Camp Soar?
Actually, I may have misunderstood, but I was looking at that Thursday morning program at the splash pad, but maybe
yeah.
that's not what was shared in the presentation.
Yeah, I was confusing it with, I thought you meant Camp SOAR, that's something
Okay.
different.
Yeah.
But because that's an open-ended activities, people come and go as they please.
Sure.
But everyone that's there is extremely appreciative. The students get to, collaborate and work together and just have a good, cool time out because, our community is inclusive and we welcome all ages, all abilities, and that's a place where it's safe and everyone can come together and play regardless of, their cares, their concerns, or anything that ails them. So it's always well attended.
Good, good. Thank you so much. Appreciate that information. Okay, so we will move on now. We have our consent calendar. And on our consent calendar, we have minutes to approve from our last meeting, August 12th, 2024. I need a motion and a second, please.
Move.
Second.
All right, well done, well done. So moved by Commissioner Oddie and seconded by Vice Chair Hawks, and I'll turn it to Isabel.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I will take roll call vote. Commissioner Oddie,
Yes.
Vice Chair Hawks,
Aye.
Chairperson Kingsburg,
Yes.
and the vote is unanimous. The motion is approved with Castro and Sizemore abstaining with the absent last meeting. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Isabel. Okay, next is our Director's Report with Erica Russo.
Good evening, everyone. So not a ton of updates, but I just wanted to share that with the heat wave, and I know some of you were inquiring about how we're handling that as it relates to our homeless outreach program, we did have some program cancellations this past week. So essentially, when it was our own programs, we follow the National Weather Service guidelines and the California Department of Public Health guidelines, which required that we cancel, move indoors, or reschedule strenuous outdoor activity between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. With our sports leagues and our rental groups, where we don't actually control what they're doing, we shared that information with them and encouraged them to take it into consideration, and the majority, if not all of them, went ahead and canceled for that. So in addition, actually, from an aquatic standpoint, I'm assuming you saw a big uptick in activity at the pool due to the heat. If anybody would like to jump in and comment, I see nods and yeah. Mary, you sat in the aisle seat, and this is just, yeah.
Voice of the aquatics today, I guess. We did. We had we have pool party rentals, as we talked about earlier, and so one of them did reschedule due to the heat, but we had quite a bit of activity on Saturday for the public swim, and then you normally wouldn't have had family night on Friday at the Community Rec Center, but due to the heat, we did have family night at the Community Rec Center, so we were able to offer that to the public. With water and aquatics, a lot of people find relief in getting into the pool, and so we were fortunate enough to be able to stay open during that time. We made sure to make sure our guards had adequate water and that they were on really strict rotation schedules in order to keep our lifeguards safe as well. So we were monitoring the situation. Sunday, with the weather being what it was and the thunderstorms, we do have to close due to many state and national guidelines in terms of thunder and lightning. And so we did have activity at the pool, but we did have to close due to those regulations, but we were monitoring it very, very closely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary, and thanks for bringing up staff safety as well. That is another aspect of what we're doing, obviously, is thinking about staff safety as well and making sure that there's cooling and respite available. Additionally, we had to cancel the preparedness fair, which was kind of a bummer. Originally thought we were going to be able to go ahead with it, but then, just based on feedback we were receiving, and especially the vendors were going to be there for the duration, standing outside, it was too big to relocate into the conference center. So we did end up canceling the preparedness fair, but our hope is to be able to reschedule it again at a date that works for everyone. So we're looking forward to that. And then we have a ton of events coming up in September, so I'm going to hand it off to Dawn real quick, and she can just give you a little update.
Yes, we actually have 2 this week that hopefully we'll see everybody at. Wednesday is September the 11th. So we'll have our ceremony at the Duck Pond, and then Saturday is Cartoonapalooza featuring Art Fest. So hopefully everybody can come out. And it'll be a little bit cooler on Saturday. 10 to 6. There'll be a cosplay contest, so wear, your best costume. Sure, we do have a busy month. September 21st is the college fair. The 22nd is the color run, and the 28th is the health fair. And that's just in September.
Thank you, Dawn. So yeah, just as everybody's going back to school, we are chock-a-block with activities and things to do in September, and the heat is not letting up. Hopefully later this week, it looks like it'll break a little bit, but we, in Southern California, we never really let our guard down with the heat until at least October. So that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you, Erica. All right, next we have our commissioner reports, and Commissioner Audi, we'll start with you.
Thank you. I have really not a lot, and just always my thank you to staff and fellow commissioners for all the great work we do in our division. And I'm super impressed with aquatics tonight. Great to have you here. Maybe, next time, stay the whole time and fill the stands. So, yeah, nothing here. A lot of the things that came up tonight was kind of reviewing summer, and we've already talked about a lot of those. So looking forward to the busy September and fall months coming forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Audi. Commissioner Sizemore.
Thank you. I'll be short tonight also. Just getting back in the swing of things after summer and dropping my son off at college and enjoying the theater. And I'm looking forward to going down and looking at the plein air art contest entries this week, and looking forward to that. I believe that's at the end of the month, the reception for that. So will we be rescheduling the Merck Art Night as far as the gallery unveiling for the Dorland?
I'm glad you brought up the Merck. So I didn't go into the details here, but we had to close the Merck unexpectedly due to a raccoon infestation that then led to a flea infestation.
Oh.
So it's been rough times at the Merck and the theater, and hats off to Charisse, who is just holding it down over there. They had to move, they've had to cancel 2 weekends of activities. She had to move the ticket office outdoors because we also can't have staff in the Merck. They have just, they've really done a great job. Charisse and Hilda have really just kept it running over there miraculously. So lots of issues at the Merck, which is why the gallery reception was closed. So unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, because those gallery receptions are booked so far in advance, it will be a little while before we can reschedule that particular artist. I know he was not happy with that. Isabel, did you have any additional information on that situation?
Actually, I was gonna chime in. Arts and culture near and dear to my heart, so I always keep tabs. So what staff is going to go ahead and do is they're going to provide Dorland, so that the artist colony, with an opportunity to have an extended gallery next year, just to make up for that lost time and to have that reception opportunity.
Okay.
So again, they'll have their reception next year, and the plus is their added time. So they'll be in for a 2-month gallery instead of just 1 month at the Merck.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate
You're
hearing
welcome.
that. And we got the trash pandas are gone?
Yes, but their freeloading little riders are still there. So we're
Okay.
monitoring and attempting to eradicate that issue. So
Okay.
apparently, for what it's worth, life cycle of the flea is about 3 weeks. So we've had pest control out multiple times. Our public works staff has been amazing in monitoring it. And apparently the best way to tell if they're still there is you lay a white towel out. And for whatever reason, they're attracted to the white towel, and then you move the towel, you see them move, and you know they're still there. So they're still there as of this morning.
Okay.
We're continuing to monitor daily, and once they're gone, then we'll be good to go.
Wow. Did we discover?
It's a whole thing.
What enabled the raccoons to?
Yes, so there were multiple entrance points. There's a crawl space under the Merck because it's a
Okay.
historical building. There were multiple places where they had created entrance points. So pest control and Public Works Building Maintenance went through and did an exclusion around all the entries except for one. And then for that one, they put a trap with cat food in it and checked until they caught the individual who was there. And it, apparently he or she managed to scoot out when they were fumigating at one point, so they never got him in the trap, so it's a whole thing. But the underside of the Merc should now be raccoon-proof.
Okay, all right, and I trust that the raccoons have been safely relocated perhaps to Temecula Norte, or?
They relocated themselves.
Okay.
When the fumigation went through, they just got themselves out of there, and they're probably relocated to the dumpster back by the loading dock in the theater, if history is any indicator. Many nights, Bea and I can attest to entering and leaving the theater with like families of raccoons perched on the dumpster watching us, so
Oh, wow.
it's a whole thing, but
Wow,
yes.
all right. Thank you, thank you. Quite the drama going down in Old Town. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Castro?
Thank you. I look forward to seeing a reel about the raccoons. I meant to bring it up earlier, but my grandsons gave a big thumbs up to Beauty and the Beast and the splash pad. They love the splash pad. I want to thank the aquatic staff for coming out tonight. It was enjoyable to hear somebody who are very good at their job and provide a valuable service to the city. I liked having everybody here and a chance to recognize the volunteers. So, thank you.
Okay, Vice Chair Hawks?
I judged the two art contest. No, actually one art contest, the Ralph Love Plein Air contest. And the other one is art displays for all the galleries. I really enjoyed all the pieces, and we have lots of talents here. So I look forward to going to the reception to see who wins the plein air contest, and also for all the other gallery pieces to see if the pieces I picked made it to the wall. And I want to thank Mike Wooten for showing me around when I arrived to the teen zone, when they opened it for the first time for the homeschoolers. It's really very well organized. I met a lot of the staff there and just saw the kids, mostly are boys, but it's organized, and they were enjoying it when I left. And also I want to thank Isabel for providing me these guides. I'm going to have a little mini PR campaign for our commission at my Toastmasters group next Friday, and just to tell them what we are and
Oh, that's great, thank you.
promote our program.
For representing.
Yes. And I got a box of guides, thanks to Isabel. Also, I look forward to going to the Duck Pond this September 11th, too. That's always very important to me, and I think we shall never forget as a nation. And also, my son attended the Youth Advisory Council for the first time last Wednesday. He really liked it. He wanted to go back, but unfortunately, we had some scheduling issue. He had other events on the same nights. So, but it seems like a very well run and very organized program for the high schoolers. And that concludes my report.
All right. Well, thank you, Vice Chair Hawks. So yeah, I just want to applaud the city and you guys for, operating on a premise of safety first and going with those cancellations. And I know I had hoped to get over to the preparedness fair for a little bit and had planned on it, but again, the heat-related illness is real, and this is a different type of heat than our normal summer heat that we have received most years. So looking forward to it moving on in the next day or so, is my hope anyway. I also want to thank Isabel for coordinating and also Erica for supporting our summer apparel update. I told Bea before the meeting, I'm really enjoying my dry fit Nike here that I put on for the first time. Very, very comfortable. So I know I requested an upgrade or an update on those, and thank you guys for coming through. And commissioners were able to receive that if they needed more summer gear, because summer has stuck around, right? So again, definitely going to get some more use. Yeah, just reflecting, it was a little slower month overall from a commissioner standpoint, but this week is going to be a commissioner week for sure. With the meeting tonight, I'll be reporting at City Council tomorrow night, 9/11 Remembrance. I'm looking forward to going to that. I was out of town for that last year. I'll be over at the Senior Center Thursday morning, and then I know Saturday we have, not only do we have the Art Fest or art event, but we have Culture Day as well with the museum. So a lot going on. And then I had a question and then a comment to close, just sort of regarding facilities. And I know Isabel sent us an email that I did look at, but is there any update, or could you clarify the decision? I know we had a public comment last month in relation to badminton use. Has that been determined, rectified? Are we going with the tentative plan that they're going to be able to use the facility for a few months?
So, yeah, that's something we'll need to have a little bit more discussion about, and I anticipate it will go at some point to the Parks and Rec Subcommittee, but not tomorrow because that agenda is already full. Okay. Dawn, did you have any comments on that, the badminton? I think it's 24 people that have been.
It's 24. Staff is not obviously opposed to trying this out, but we need to kind of vet it out a little bit more, as space is very limited, which is part of our issue.
Sure.
And that's really the hang-up, is just that we get a lot of requests to use the gym.
Of course.
And we have to really prioritize, if we're going to make it not a rental and make it an actual city program, we have to make sure it's more than just, kind of a small special interest group. So, but they were certainly passionate. We were really, thrilled to see them come out, and they definitely represented their interests very well, so.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. And actually, that sort of ties into my comment. As you guys are well aware, we are very limited on, city gym space. And so with the CRC, I know there have been renovations there, but I don't believe the renovations included any sort of expansion, if you will, right, of gym space. I mean, it looks great over there. I walked on in the front, and it looks really, really clean. And again, call me crazy, but I do want to at least mention this and go on record as mentioning it, that I think long-term as a vision, looking at what our facility needs are going to be, I would argue it's pretty safe to say, and it was already sort of mentioned, that we're going to probably need more gymnasium space if we want to continue to offer, programs to residents. And so I don't, again, I know there are obviously obstacles to that and challenges to that that doesn't even need to be said, but I get that, just to be clear. And so again, I don't know if, down the line, I mean, it could be 5 years, it could be 10 years, it could be 15 years, but some sort of auxiliary gym space or additional gymnasium space in another sports park. The demand seems to be going up. I had this kind of stemmed for me from a conversation with residents, actually a former student of mine who's married to another former student of mine who I had at Chaparral High way back. They were in the first graduating class of 2000, and talking about their family, and they have a large family with a few children of their own, a few adopted kids, and having their kids in programs and getting them into gymnasiums for, practices, if you will, and events this time of year is tough. I mean, let's put it this way. It's hard to be outside participating in, even as a younger person, in this sort of weather. And again, my bias would be, and again, as a kid, I played outside, right? We all played outside, us old timers. And you can, but I mean, even from a basketball perspective, you're very limited what you can do. You can learn the game outside, but you really can't play the game outside. I mean, as far as, and really fine tune your skills outdoor with the elements, as far as the being able to handle the ball, and especially with shooting. So I just want to put it out there that, down the line, I hope we can create a vision for that, and it can become part of the conversations, because I think obviously climate continues to escalate, and we know 5 or 10 years from now, the climate will probably be more extreme. We had a couple seasons of rain this last couple years, which I'm sure hindered some programs. I mean, rain's a natural phenomenon. But anyway, I hope that we could look toward that. I know the Uptown Sports Park, my understanding, at least in the initial drawings and share out, was, I mean, this is going to be soccer fields, which are well needed. Anyway, where, when, I don't know, but I want to put it out there as a community need. So thank you for hearing me out on that.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I'm sure it was identified as a need in our community services master plan that we completed back in 2020, but I'd have to double check and see what they said. There is the potential to add a gymnasium as part of the Altair development, which is going up just kind of on the escarpment over there on the other side of Pujol. Right now, the plan for that is, I want to say don't quote me on this, I need to get somebody from planning in. I think there's 4 or 5 separate phases of construction, and I feel like the park is part of maybe the second phase, but again, don't quote me on that. But there's a plan for a large central park area over there that would include some play structures, a dog park, some open space, and an indoor gymnasium. It would be little more than a gym with some seats on the side. I mean, it's basically a square room with a gym. But it would be available for the city to utilize. So that was part of our negotiation with them to provide a community benefit as part of the development. So there's a lot between now and then. Who knows what'll happen? We'd have to address the staffing component, which is always a bit of a hurdle. But the plan is to add an indoor gym space there. And when we had the opportunity to discuss what should go in there, we really kind of landed on a gym as opposed to a different type of recreation facility, just because we only have one indoor gym. And exactly what you said, it's an extremely high demand and there's only one of them. So yeah, we're excited about it.
Oh, okay.
And then just as a quick update, Gwen just shared that we actually had to close the MRC pool because of raining ash. So as we're speaking about natural phenomenon and things that, as I said, weren't on the bingo card this year. So do we have to close the CRC pool also? Yep, both pools. Good times. Good times outside, so.
I wanted to add on the indoor gyms, perhaps Commissioner Audi, as we were both on the QLMP, didn't we address, we were talking about the South Side Gym. So it is,
that's right.
I think if you look into the QLMP, there is some element of that in that plan.
Yeah, that would be in the Southside Rec Center.
That's right, I forgot about that. That would be very exciting to add. I know there was some discussion of maybe a senior facility there and or a library facility there, so. Yeah, so very exciting to see if we can get that online at some point in the future. We would love that. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you guys for your input on that. That's helpful. Thank you for the information, Erica. Okay, if there's nothing else, we will go ahead and adjourn tonight's meeting at 7:34. Our next meeting is Monday, October 14th, 2024, at 6 o'clock p.m., right here in these chambers. Good night, everyone.